For decades, Asia quietly built wealth from agriculture, while the rest of the world chased oil, tech, and real estate. Vietnam, Thailand, India, Indonesia, and China turned small farms into billion-dollar industries, not with giant tractors or massive capital, but with smart, scalable agribusiness models. Today, something interesting is happening. Across Africa, a generation is discovering these same models and copying them fast. Young Africans are leaving cities, converting backyards, renting small plots, setting up mini processing plants, and turning simple agricultural ideas into serious income. This is not theory, this is actually happening. In this video, you will discover 10 agribusiness ideas Asia used to get rich, and that Africans are starting right now. Watch till the end, because the last ideas combine farming and processing, and that is where the real money lives. Before we get to the list, understand one thing. Asia did not get rich by doing more of the same. What they did was value chain agriculture, processing, transforming, packaging, and selling at the top instead of the bottom. A Chinese farmer does not just grow mushroom. They dry, they powder, they capsule, they sell them as supplements at 30 times the farm gate price. The raw material is humble. The thinking behind it is not. Let's start with one that sounds strange until you see the numbers. Snail farming. This is one of Asia's quietest but most consistent agribusiness success stories, and it is gaining serious ground across West and Central Africa right now. Here's why Asia fell in love with it. Snails eat vegetable scraps and agricultural waste. They need very little space, reproduce rapidly, and the global market for snail meat, snail slime cosmetics, and snail-derived pharmaceutical is growing fast. In China and Japan, snail extract is a billion-dollar skincare ingredient. 1 liter of purified snail secretion fetches hundreds of dollars on the cosmetic market. But here's what makes this powerful for Africa specifically. The African giant land snail, Achatina achatina, is one of the most sought-after species in the world for food and cosmetic processing. Nigeria, Ghana, and Cameroon are already seeing commercial snail farms selling to processors, exporters, and cosmetic ingredient suppliers, not just the local market. Entry cost for this is as low as $300. Within the first 6 to 8 months, you can start your first harvest. And once you move into processing or export, the upside is substantial. Stay with me here, because the next one might be the single most underestimated agribusiness opportunity in Africa right now. Mushroom farming, specifically oyster and button mushrooms. In China, mushroom farming is a $40 billion industry, not million, billion. China produces over 70% of the world's cultivated mushrooms and has been doing so for decades. In South Korea and Japan, premium mushroom varieties sell for extraordinary prices, not just as food, but as health supplements, immune boosters, and functional ingredients. Now here's the African story. Mushrooms grow on substrate, essentially agricultural waste, rice straw, sawdust, corn cobs. The things that African farmers currently burn or throw away are the exact inputs that mushroom cultivation requires. This means raw material cost is nearly zero in many African communities. Oyster mushrooms can go from inoculation to first harvest in as little as 3 weeks. That is one of the fastest turnaround times in any agricultural product on earth. You can run multiple cycles per month in a small controlled space, a shed, a shipping container, a spare room. A basic mushroom farming setup can start for under $200. Now let's move to number 3, medical herb gardening. Picture this. A small farm in rural Yunnan province, China. Less than 2 acres, growing nothing exotic, just ginger, turmeric, astragalus, and a few other traditional medicinal plants. Annual revenue from that farm? Over $80,000. Not from selling fresh herbs at the market, from supplying a traditional medicine manufacturer who exports to 30 countries. Medicinal herb gardening is Asia's longest running agribusiness success story. Traditional Chinese medicine alone is a $60 billion global industry. South Korea, Japan, India, every major Asian economy has built significant wealth on the cultivation and processing of plants that heal. Africa has its own profound tradition of medicinal plant knowledge, and increasingly, the global wellness industry is coming to Africa to find ingredients it cannot source anywhere else. But here is a critical insight. The money is not in selling loose herbs at a roadside market. The money is in understanding which herbs have global commercial demand, cultivating them at scale, drying and packaging them to export standards, and connecting with buyers in the wellness, pharmaceutical, and cosmetic supply chains. The farmers who are winning in this space are the ones who treat their herb gardens like precision manufacturing operation, consistent quality, documented cultivation practices, clean processing, and professional packaging. Now the next one is going to sound unusual, and then it's going to sound like the future, because it is. Black Soldier Fly Larvae farming, insect agriculture. Asia, particularly China, Vietnam, and Thailand, has been building serious industrial wealth from these for over a decade. And the reason is simple. The world has a protein problem. Global demand for animal protein, fish, poultry, livestock is growing faster than traditional feed sources can supply it. Soy and fish meal, the two main protein ingredients in animal feed, are environmentally expensive and increasingly price volatile. The world needs a better protein source. Black Soldier Fly Larvae, BSFL, is that source. These larvae can be raised on organic waste, kitchen scraps, food processing byproducts, and agricultural residue. They convert low-value waste into high-value protein at extraordinary efficiency. Their dried biomass is 40 to 45% protein. Their fat content makes them ideal for aquaculture, and the frass, the waste they produce, is a premium organic fertilizer. Africa is sitting on a massive opportunity here for two reasons. First, Africa generates enormous quantities of organic waste that currently goes into landfill. BSFL farming turns that waste liability into a revenue asset. Second, Africa's aquaculture and poultry industries are growing rapidly and desperately need affordable local protein sources. BSFL farming startups have already launched in Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, and Nigeria. Some have attracted international investment. This is not fringe science. It's a scalable, proven business model that Asia built first and Africa is beginning to build. Now we've come to number 5, the one that hits different for Africa, cassava deep processing. And that's because cassava is not a foreign crop. It is home. It is familiar. It feeds hundreds of millions of people across the continent every single day. Here's what Asia did with cassava, particularly Thailand and Vietnam, which are the world's largest cassava exporters. They did not stop at fresh cassava or even basic dried chips. They went deep. They built entire industrial value chains that extracted every possible unit of value from the root. Cassava starch, used in food manufacturing, paper production, textile processing, and pharmaceuticals. Cassava glucose syrup, a sweetener used across food and beverage industry. Cassava ethanol, a biofuel with growing industrial demand. Cassava flour, a gluten-free alternative now commanding premium prices in health food markets globally. Thailand alone earns over $3 billion per year from cassava exports, and the bulk of that value comes from processed derivatives, not raw roots. Nigeria is the world's largest cassava producer, and yet Africa captures only a fraction of the value that Asia captures from the same crop. The gap between raw cassava at the farm gate and processed cassava starch or glucose syrup is enormous. And closing that gap at any scale, from a small processing unit to a medium industrial operation, is where the money is. Now real quick, before we keep going, if any of those 5 ideas so far just lit something up in you, do not let it die there. African Wealth today builds personalized business plans designed specifically for the African market, not copy-paste templates, a real plan built around your idea, your budget, your location, and your goals. Professional enough to get any of these businesses started, enough to take to a bank, a grant committee, or an investor. Whether you already have an idea or need help finding the right one, we've got you covered. Link is in the description. Go check it out. Then come back for the final 5 ideas, because it's about to get even better. Welcome back. Now let's go to number 6. Palm oil kernel and byproduct processing. Palm oil is Africa's complicated treasure. It generates income from millions of smallholder farmers. It is central to the food culture of West and Central Africa, and it has an enormous global market. Asia, specifically Malaysia and Indonesia, did not just grow palm oil, they built an entire industrial ecosystem around every part of palm fruit. The oil, the kernel, the shell, the fiber, the effluent, nothing is wasted. Everything becomes revenue. Palm kernel oil commands different industrial uses in cosmetic, pharmaceuticals, and the specialty food manufacturing. Palm kernel cake is a valuable livestock feed ingredient. Palm shells are a premium biomass fuel used in power generation. Malaysia built its palm oil wealth not just by producing more, but by processing more completely, by owning more of the value chain. West African countries, particularly Nigeria, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire and Cameroon, have enormous palm resources and are beginning to move in this direction. The template from Asia is clear and transferable. From here now, let's go to number 7. Solar drying and dehydration of fruits and vegetables. Africa loses an estimated 40 to 50% of its fruits and vegetable production to post-harvest spoilage every single year. 40 to 50%. Gone before it reaches a consumer, before it generates a single dollar, rotting in fields, in transits, in markets. Asia solved this decades ago with solar drying and dehydration, and in doing so, created an entirely new category of high-value products. Dried mango from the Philippines sells at a premium in European supermarkets. Dehydrated ginger from China commands a global commodity pricing. Dried moringa powder from India is a best-selling wellness supplement worldwide. Here's what makes this accessible right now. Solar drying infrastructure, powered by nothing but sunlight, can be built for a few $100s using locally available materials. Mechanical dehydrators are now affordable, with Chinese and Indian equipment cutting entry costs dramatically. Every one of these is a product the global market is actively buying and that Africa can produce at scale. The post-harvest loss problem that has plagued African agriculture for generations is, from a different angle, a margin opportunity waiting to be captured. Now let's move to number 8. Herbal and medicinal plant cultivation. Talking about moringa, artemisia and ginger in particular. Moringa oleifera, called the miracle tree, is native to parts of South Asia and is widely grown across Africa. Every part of this plant has commercial value. The leaves, dried and powder, are a dense nutritional supplement now sold in health stores across Europe, North America and Asia. The seeds yield a high-quality oil used in cosmetics. The seed cake is used in water purification. The global moringa market is currently valued at over $7 billion and is projected to continue growing sharply as consumer demand for plant-based nutrition surges. Artemisia, the plant from which artemisinin, the key ingredient in the world's most effective anti-malaria treatment, is derived, is cultivated commercially in East Africa, particularly Tanzania and Uganda. The pharmaceutical demand for artemisinin is significant and consistent. Farmers who grow artemisia under contract with pharmaceutical processors earn stable above market prices. Ginger's global commercial profile extends far beyond cooking. Dried ginger, ginger oil, ginger extract, and ginger supplements are high-value products with strong global demand. Nigeria is one of the world's top ginger producers, but most of the processing and value addition still happens outside Africa. The opportunity to capture that processing value domestically is significant and growing. And then to number 9, waste to charcoal briquette production. This one sits at the intersection of agribusiness, clean energy, and environmental impact, and it is one of the most quietly powerful business models Asia pioneered that Africa is now beginning to embrace. Agricultural waste, rice husk, corn cobs, palm kernel shells, groundnut shells, is carbonized and compressed into fuel briquettes that replace wood charcoal and firewood for cooking. Asia has run this industry profitably for decades. It solves two problems at once. It gives farmers a revenue stream from waste they currently burn or discard, and it provides households and food vendors with cleaner, more efficient cooking fuel. Over 600 million Africans still rely on solid biomass for cooking. Deforestation from charcoal production is devastating ecosystems across the continent. Biomass briquettes are a direct bankable alternative. Briquette presses are low cost. The raw materials are waste that processors are often paying to get rid of. The market, households, restaurants, schools, hospitals is enormous, consistent, and entirely domestic. If you are near a rice mill, palm processor, or corn mill, you are sitting next to an asset someone else calls a problem. We close with one that combines one of Africa's most familiar agricultural traditions with one of Asia's most effective agribusiness strategies, goat and sheep farming. This is deeply embedded in African agricultural and cultural life, but in most of Africa, value capture from small ruminants stops at live animal sales at the lowest point in the value chain. Peri-urban fattening operations, small intensive livestock operation located near cities, work by purchasing lean animals from rural areas, fattening them over 60 to 90 days on optimized feed rations, and selling them at premium prices to urban butchers, restaurants, hotels, and event caterers at exactly the moment when demand peaks. The margin between lean rural animal and premium fattened city animal is significant and consistent. But the real Asian innovation was value-added processing. Processed goat meat products, sausages, dried meat, marinated cuts, canned products command prices that are multiples of fresh carcass value. Goat milk and goat cheese, still dramatically unexploited in Africa, are premium products in global markets. Even the skin and the bone have commercial processing value. In East Africa, particularly Kenya and Ethiopia, peri-urban goat fattening operations are scaling rapidly. Urban demand for quality meat is growing with the middle class. Hotels, restaurants, and supermarkets are willing to pay premium prices for consistent quality supply. Now you have it. 10 ideas, 10 proven pathways, all tested in Asia, all landed in Africa right now. The reason Asia got rich from agribusiness is not geography or luck. They changed their relationship with the land. They stopped seeing agriculture as subsistence and started seeing it as industry. They stopped selling raw materials and started selling finished products. That shift is happening in Africa right now. And the Africans moving first will be the ones telling their stories in 5 years. Before you close this video, this is important. You just saw 10 agribusiness ideas that Asia used to build real wealth. And at least one of them is right for you. But an idea without a plan is just a thought. And a thought without action is just a dream. At African Wealth Today, we turn your ideas into professional business plan built specifically for the African market. Your crop, your city, your budget, your goals. Researched from the scratch. No template, no guesswork. Whether you're starting from zero, applying for a loan, pitching to investors, or bringing diaspora money back home, we write the plan that opens the door. The link is in the description. Click it. Take the next step. Now let me know which of these business you want to start in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.